Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac here, and today I want to touch on a subject that I don't usually get much into, which is the Bitcoin macroeconomic situation and how Bitcoin will perform during a bear market. It's a very touchy subject because Bitcoin has never been through a bear market, and there's a lot of macroeconomic things going on that you guys need to be aware of and kind of put into your calculations when doing research to decide how you're going to allocate your portfolio to different investments. As usual, I am not a financial advisor, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research, and you can just go ahead and put some of the information I give you into your research, compound on it, and then apply it to your portfolio as you see fit. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, guys, so to get started on the Bitcoin bear market performance, I want to first talk about the S&P bear market performance because we don't actually have any data showing how Bitcoin performs during a bear market, but we do have a lot of data showing how the S&P 500 performed during a bear market. So you can see here there was two bear markets. One started here in 2000 and then went all the way to 2002. So a rather short bear market, only 2 years. And then we had another bear market that was pretty short as well. It went from 2007 to 2009, so about a 2-year bear market. And then from 2009 all the way to 2021, we looks like we had a bull market here. So that's a very, very, very long bull market. This is pretty crazy. We had almost no big dips here. It just went straight up like that. And this is partially due to inflation. If you think inflation is just an issue nowadays, it's actually been a growing issue, especially in the United States, for almost 10 years now. The prices of housing have gone up exponentially, and the pricing of food has gone up. Eggs recently have gone up because of the egg crisis in the US and the supply chain issues. The gasoline prices have gone up, and that's something everyone really needs to use. Honestly, the housing prices, my friend bought a house in 2013 or 2012, and the price has almost doubled since then. So it's pretty crazy. The housing market is in a huge bubble. There's a lot of rich people purchasing houses in the US, then renting it out, jacking up prices to keep up with mortgage rates. The Federal Reserve, they're the ones who are in charge of inflation. It's their job to keep inflation down. And recently they did the huge rate hike, which was 75 basis points. And we're going to go ahead and touch on that here. You can see they raised the interest rates from, it was basically 0.2%. all the way to 1.8% now. Currently, inflation is at around 8.5% according to the CPI, and we also call it the CPI. If you take a look at the S&P 500, you can see it went from 1,500 down to about 750 here. And if you take a look at the Bitcoin price, we already went from 64,000 all the way down to 20,000. And you have to remember that Bitcoin is a risk-on asset, so it's has much higher volatility than the regular stock market because there's not quite as much money in it. So a little bit of money out can really affect the whole market in general. So if you take the previous low of Bitcoin, which was the bear market of 2018, 2019, it went all the way down to here. There was a huge jump here, and then there was a huge dip all the way down to $5,300. It is possible if we look at the S&P 500 and kind of calculate the lowest low going lower than the previous low, and then immediately jumping back and calculate Bitcoin is going down to $5,000 this time. So this is a possibility. We have to keep this in mind when we are trying to calculate what the Bitcoin price can go to. This has been a crazy inflationary run. So we're going to have to see a huge bubble. There's going to have to be a lot of layoffs because once layoffs happen, people can't pay their mortgage, so they have to sell their house, and that'll pop the housing market bubble. You say real estate is a very safe investment. Well, that's the last bubble that was going to pop during this inflation pop, all right? So we have to wait for the housing market to pop, and then we'll probably find a bottom right around then. But right now, the housing market is just starting to pop, and I don't think we're going to pop anytime soon. We had a long bull market, so I think this bear market could definitely be at least 2 years. And currently, we're only about 6 months into it. So we could see another spike up to $30,000. That is quite possible. But I feel like we're going to keep going down and down until we get to about $10,000. Once the housing market starts to, take a hit, I believe we might start to see a recover in about 2 or 3 years from now. And of course, with the Bitcoin halving, that always tends to help spike the Bitcoin price. You have to think of all these different things and keep them on your mind when you're deciding when to buy into Bitcoin. As of right now, there's going to be a lot of job layoffs coming in the next 6 months. So you need to be ready for that, pay off all your credit cards, and then just kind of keep all your money on the side and wait for Bitcoin to go down. And you can buy back in when it goes back down to, $12,000, because that's still a lot cheaper than it is now. And even if it goes down to $5,000, you're still doing better than if you held from $20,000 all the way down to $5,000. It all depends on what you want to do, but if you want to maximize your profits, you need to think about the macroeconomic situation. We still have a corona, we still have a war in Ukraine, and who knows when that's going to be over. Now, the only bullish scenarios I could think of for Bitcoin is recently Russia has been utilizing Bitcoin a lot because they have to get around the USA sanctions. So this is also a bearish scenario for Bitcoin. I feel like that's a 50-50 win and loss for Bitcoin. So I'm not really putting that into my portfolio. Like, I'm not trying to apply any of that information to my portfolio until I see that situation tipping either to the 60% for Bitcoin and 40% against Bitcoin. It has to tip in one direction or the other. But as of right now, I don't see it being, I see it 50-50. That's pretty much it for my Bitcoin bear market scenario. I just purchased a little bit of Bitcoin, and there's going to be a dead cat bounce, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get it and then sell out and then probably buy back in around, $12,000 just to be safe. It's not 100% sure it's going to go down to, $7,000 or $5,000, but it is quite likely, looking at the macroeconomic situation. People are going to be needing to spend money on eggs and gasoline, and even buying houses might be a really good idea once this bubble bursts, because the housing market will take a huge hit, I think, once people start losing their jobs. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope that helped you guys out, helped you guys stay on top of the current bear market situation, and I'll see you guys all in the next episode. Have a great day, guys.